Welcome to the Small Cap Leadership Series, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to interview small cap executives that are showing leadership in the resources sector. Today I'm happy to have Darren Blaney. He's President and CEO at American Creek Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture under the stock symbol AMK, and you can find them on the web at americancreek.com. Now, for those of you who are new to the story, American Creek is a precious metals exploration company with impressive portfolio of high potential gold and silver projects in British Columbia, including properties in BC's prolific Golden Triangle, one of the richest areas of mineralization in the world. Now, more than just lip service, the company's got some great historical results, has got some great history period as far as the story goes, and just today the company announced a headline. I'm going to read this off for you. High-grade specimens averaged 27,000 grams per ton of silver and 248 grams per ton of gold at their Electrum project in British Columbia. I'm going to say that again because it's not a typo. 27,000 grams of silver. Darren, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, George. Glad to be here.
First of all, congratulations on those numbers. I almost don't want to dive straight into the numbers just yet because I want to hear a little bit about this more. Sure. I want to put them into some context. So for our viewers at home, these aren't the first time you've reported these kind of big numbers. You've had some numerous bonanza grade samples in the past, including 600 grams a ton of gold and 80,000 grams a ton of silver in samples in the past. So what is it about this Electrum property that keeps cranking out these kinds of numbers?
George, the Electrum property's got a very interesting history. It goes back to the 30s. You know, it encompasses the East Gold Mine, a historic mine. There was a gentleman by the name of Al Phillips who, for about 25 years, starting in the 30s, went up there the hard way, you know, hiking in with a horse and so forth, and packed out ore on his back. He ended up packing out about 45 tons of ore with spectacular grades. You know, it averaged 1,600 grams per ton gold, 2,600 grams per ton silver over that span of time. Of course, he's packing out the best of the best because he's doing it the hard way, but it gives you an idea of the potential of the East Gold Mine. And the Electrum, as I mentioned, encompasses the East Gold Mine. We're located in the Golden Triangle, as you already mentioned, about 40 kilometers north of Stewart, British Columbia. We're about midway between the Premier Mine, a historic past-producing mine, which had some very good grades as well, gold and silver. That's to the south of us, and then to the north, Pretium's Brucejack project, which is about near going into production. I think 2017 is the date that it'll go in. Again, with spectacular numbers. So we're in great country, you know, right in the middle of the Golden Triangle, just in a great area.
So I'm assuming infrastructure also is accessible to the project?
Yeah, actually there's a road that goes from Stewart up. It's the old Grand Duke Hall Road, another mine that's just south of the Electrum project. It goes up to within about 2.5 kilometers of our property. There's another road that actually goes right up onto the property. You can actually drive right up to near the East Gold added entrance. So great infrastructure. There's also in Stewart itself, there's a deep mine, a deep sea shipping port. There's ore that's being shipped out of there now from the Huckleberry mine and others. So everything's there. Great infrastructure. Couldn't ask for better, really.
All right. So you've got infrastructure. You've got history of the people mining some incredibly high grade, taking out high grade gold, and you've got and you're in a great area. So normally, let's talk about today's numbers, because again, close to 28,000. I almost can't believe the number I'm saying it, but just over 27,000 grams.
Right.
Normally, I'm not a fan of chip samples and outcrop specimens and things like that. And I guess a lot of people like to see drill holes, you know. But in your case, the exposed mineralization covers much of that 150 hectare area. So how does such large surface exposure differentiate you from the company that just goes out and tries to take a couple of chip samples and make it seem the norm?
I think that's a good question, George. What we've got is we've got an area we've delineated thus far. It's about 500 meters by 500 meters, or roughly 250,000 square meters, where these high-grade gold and silver veins are located. You know, they're kind of scattered throughout there. The key is trying to put it all together and figure out the puzzle. We've had numerous samples in the past on surface of high-grade gold and silver and Electrum, which is what the property is named after. For those that don't know, Electrum is a natural amalgamation of gold and silver. It's found on the Electrum property, also found on the Premier property to the south of us. That's how the property got its name. So within this area, we've identified a bunch of these places where the high grade is on surface. We've sampled in the past. We also have drill holes that have intersected high grade intersections at depth. So it's scattered throughout that area that we've delineated thus far.
These kind of silver and gold numbers are spectacular to say the least.
Right.
What are you going to do next? What's next for the project going forward? Are you rushing that place now just because you're beside yourself and how fast you're going to get into it, or what did this do for you in terms of trying to organize yourselves?
Let me just give you a little bit of a history of what we did this past fall. So we brought in our new geological team, Malcolm Warwick and Alex Burton, and what they did was they put together a new model. We've done exploration on the property in the past. Like I say, we've intersected, high grade at depth with the drill and also found it on surface, but it seemed random. Nobody could really put the pieces of the puzzle together and figure it out. What Alex did is he's figured out the alteration sequencing and the mineral sequencing. So with that model, then we went there this fall to test that out and see if it would work, and it did. So going forward, then what we plan to do is take that model, go to these other areas where we've got high grade showings and surface samples that are really through the roof on gold and ceiling, apply that model, put some drill holes in there and prove more and more of the property up. That's really what our short-term plan is. That's what we'll be doing going forward. So really the key is the new geological team and the model that they put together, which we just didn't have before.
So how long until you guys get back up there? I'm assuming you need some time you're going to use this model in order to find your next targets. We're in the middle of January here, so do you got a basic ETA, or what kind of next steps are going to be taking place?
We're going to get up there as soon as the snow melts. I didn't mention before, but the driller was confident enough that he actually left the drill up on site.
That's a good
So it's
sign.
already there. We already have the drill up there, the equipment there, so we can get a much earlier start than we ever have before. Between now and then, what's happening is the geological team is analyzing these results. Obviously, it's going to take some time to figure things out even more and look at some of these other areas where we've got high-grade gold and silver and apply the model to those and figure out the best targets for the drilling. But we're anxious to get in there. As soon as the snow melts, we're there.
I want to finish off on this question. We call this the Agoracom, CEO Leadership Series. What is it about the American Creek philosophy, the management philosophy, that has your company continue to move forward when so many companies are just playing duck and cover and waiting for the market and things to happen to them, as opposed to companies like yours where you're actually making things happen? What is it about the philosophy? What is it about the team?
I think from day one with American Creek, we've been an aggressive company. We haven't been afraid to put the drill in the ground. There's a saying in the industry, you can ruin a good property by putting the drill in the ground. Well, you also can't find mines unless you put a drill in the ground. So we've been aggressive from day one, and we continue to be. Even if the market, even with this market, which is tough right now, we're still continuing to move things ahead. Brighter days are coming, and we want to be ready for it.
Darren, I want to thank you for taking out the time to join us today. You put out this press release this morning. We'll reach out to you to try and get some commentary from that, because when we saw that number, 27,000 grams per ton of silver and 248 grams ton of gold, we said,
those are big numbers.
Yeah, I said, we got to get this guy on camera and find out more about all this. And once I did my digging and my research into the project, into Electrum, it was pretty clear to me that you've got something really exciting up there. So I think I speak on behalf of everyone in the industry where I say continued success, so that you guys could perhaps be the torchbearer for this industry and be the next leadership that's going to take us out of this little doldrum.
Thanks very much, George. I sure appreciate it. It's been great talking with you.
You've been watching Darren Blaney. He's President and CEO of American Creek Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture under the stock symbol AMK. You can find him on the web at americancreek.com. I highly advise it. You got some great information on the website. In fact, I found their presentation to be fantastic. It's a layman's nice PowerPoint presentation that's probably going to be updated now with the new results, but I encourage everyone to go take a look at that to learn more about this company. Thanks for joining us, everyone at home. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.